All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to dive into a capstone project that took on a massive campus headache, getting a student ID, and totally transformed it with a smart digital system. You know that feeling, right? That sinking feeling when you're stuck in a massive line, worried about forms you might have lost, just waiting and waiting? Well, that shared frustration is exactly what kicked off the need for a major change.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at the problem, the old bottleneck. Then we'll see how global research helped shape the solution. After that, I'll introduce you to the Trimex system itself, walk you through how it was built, and finally, we'll look at the impact it had.
First up, let's talk about why this project was even necessary. It all comes down to the daily, grinding problems of an old-school paper-based system.
I mean, the old process was just painfully slow. Because everything, and I mean everything, was done by hand. Students could be waiting for weeks just to get their ID. And that's a big deal. It affects library access, meal plans, everything.
And you know, with paper comes another huge problem. Things get lost. Since files were just stored in random cabinets, documents and photos would constantly go missing. That meant more work for the staff, and you guessed it, more waiting for the students.
So, no surprise here. All that manual typing was just a recipe for disaster. The system was riddled with duplicate records and incorrect student info, which created a constant administrative nightmare. So all of this chaos really boiled down to three key questions for the project team. The entire solution wasn't just some academic exercise. It was designed specifically to solve these very real, very frustrating problems. And here's the thing. This wasn't just some isolated issue. The team did their homework and found a clear global trend of universities everywhere going digital. This gave them a really solid academic foundation to build upon. One of the standout technologies that kept popping up in the research was RFID. You know, studies from all over the world confirm that this tech is a powerhouse for automating tasks like taking attendance, making those old manual roll calls completely obsolete. And wow, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. You're shifting from a slow, vulnerable process to something that's instant, super accurate, and secure. It's not just about speed. It's about having real-time intelligence to run the campus better.
And it wasn't just the staff who wanted a change. A 2022 study showed that students were more than ready for this. We're talking a whopping 98% finding digital IDs useful, with most of them wanting them connected to other campus services. They were basically begging for it.
You know, the research also uncovered some really powerful psychological benefits. A case study at San Diego State found that digital cues do more than just manage lines. They actually lower student stress and frustration by making the whole process feel fair and transparent. Okay, so with a very clear problem and a ton of academic research to back it up, the project delivered its answer, the Trimex ID system. It's this really slick, integrated, three-part solution.
So how does it work? Well, at its heart, it is three interconnected modules. Each one was specifically designed to tackle one of those bottlenecks we talked about, creating one smooth digital journey for the student.
Now, for the tech side of things, this system was built on a really solid and reliable tech stack. We're talking things like PHP and MySQL, and it hooks right into the Google Drive API for secure storage. This means it's not just dependable today, but it's built to last. So that's the what. Now let's get into the how. I mean, a fantastic idea is one thing, but turning it into a real working system, that takes a serious, disciplined process. The team followed a really structured, six-phase software development lifecycle. By sticking to this plan, from the very first analysis all the way to ongoing maintenance, they made sure every single feature was thoroughly tested and validated before it ever went live.
You can kind of see the whole project's logic summed up right here in this input, process, output model. Basically, it took in all the requirements and data, ran it through that structured development process, and out came the final, fully integrated system.
All right, the moment of truth. After all that planning and building, what did the project actually achieve? Let's dig into the tangible results of this whole digital transformation.
Success was measured against three really ambitious goals. The first was a direct assault on inefficiency, to cut the time it takes to get an ID into a student's hands by at least half, turning a weeks-long ordeal into just a matter of days.
But you know, a perfect system that nobody uses is a failure. So the second major goal was user adoption. They were shooting for over 90% of people to be on board in the very first semester. It had to be a system people actually wanted to use. And finally, data integrity. The goal here was to basically eliminate those old problems, the lost files, the duplicate records, and get those error rates down to pretty much zero. When you look at these three goals together,
They're not just numbers. They really define what a successful transformation looks like.
So, to wrap it all up, the conclusions are crystal clear. This project proved, without a doubt, that a centralized digital system delivers huge improvements in efficiency, accuracy, and just the overall experience for both students and staff.
And really, this project is more than just a fix for the ID system. It's a powerful blueprint for future innovation. It solved one massive headache, which leaves us with a really exciting, forward-looking question: what's the next campus bottleneck we should tackle with technology?